Hi everyone and hi Akhil sir, welcome on board.
Hi Rahul, great to be here.
People who are listening to us guys, we are going to talk about a very important topic, Indian education system versus abroad education system. It's very important. And today if I talk about some brands whom I have worked with or sir has worked with, I was lucky to got through Oxford, Stanford, MIT and spent some time at Harvard Business School for my executive management course. Akhil sir is an MBA from Kellogg's Business School, which is like world's number one for marketing, sir. That's what you guys call
Number one
yours.
for marketing. In fact, all the MBA books, Philip Kotler is sort of like the guru of marketing, and all the MBA courses promote his marketing management textbook as the most basic for marketing. So he's like, he's a Kellogg
Wow.
professor. So yeah,
This is so amazing. It's a guy who the Kotler guy is from the same university
right,
as Sir is. And by the way, he's an MBA from 1994.
right.
By the time most of the people were joined, I like adding this in the introduction, sir, always.
Always
Oh,
makes you feel old.
all right, guys. So we're going to talk about India versus abroad. Sir, I also did my MIT from Virginia Tech as well. It was a one-year course as well.
Right.
So, but I want to hear from your side first. What is your, if I have to compare like apples to apples, India versus abroad, what are your thoughts on that?
So I think one thing we have to understand is that it's really a matter of education philosophy, right? So for example, in India, they teach you what to think. They say, okay, this is a textbook, this is a system, follow the orders, this is what you need to think, don't think of anything else. Foreign education, and when I say foreign education, the US, UK, Australia, other places, they teach you how to think. They tell you there's no right answer. Here's a problem. You come up with your own thinking as to how you want to solve it. Now, your answer may be different from the answer of four other people in your class. However, you could all be right in your own way. Versus in India, they say, look, there's only one right answer. Only the guy who's got it the closest to the right answer is the guy who gets the marks.
Right.
So what to think versus how to think are the two major differences that you would see in international
Even
versus
the
Indian
professors
education.
there, they love to, they're the facilitators actually. They like to facilitate, you know. I
Right,
remember my time at Harvard, we were just actually complaining. We were like three, four Indian kids there.
right,
यार ये professor ने तो कुछ पढ़ाया ही नहीं. And you know, and he just came in the class and started asking questions. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
right,
And the good thing is he wrote everything on the board. And towards the end, saying, "Hey, you know what, guys? This is a BCG framework which you guys have pulled in with your thoughts." And
right,
he was the facilitator. He asked all the points and he put into the matrix. You know,
right.
so this was really amazing. And then we started appreciating the fact that it's not about the professor to teach you; it's about him to get the best out of you because we all are knowledgeable people around.
Exactly. That's what will actually help you. Once you know how to think and come up with solutions to problems, that'll help you in life no matter what. If you just are given the right answers, your use ends once the exams are over. Because then you can't apply that theoretical knowledge in the outside world. So how to think is where they do it very well.
And anything else, sir, apart from the faculties, the way they teach, apart from the pedagogy, do you think what's the difference mainly when you spend your time at Kellogg's?
I think what was interesting. So let me talk about my Kellogg class, right? Now, Kellogg actually was one of the first universities out there that promoted diversity in the classroom, right? Now, the thing is that a lot of people, let's say in India, would say, look, I want to just get into a top college. I want to do, let's say, a job in investment banking, consulting, and then get into an IIM or one of those institutions, right? Kellogg said, no, if you want to get a difference of opinion, you have to get people from different backgrounds. So in my year, I had a guy who had worked in the Russian space program for 20 years. The Russian space program then ran out of money. He said, let me start doing an MBA. We had a couple of kids who had come up from African-American kids who had come in from a lesser fortunate background in Chicago. They became pilots in the US Air Force, and the US Air Force funded them to get a MBA at Kellogg.
That's
We had a girl who actually was the highest ranked female Coast Guard in the 1990s, a Coast Guard, and she got an MBA. So the point is that all these different opinions made a difference. To give me an example. So like, how did that pan out? So we had a class on international business, right? And a lot of the thinking was that how do multinational companies enter emerging markets and sell their products, right? So we were discussing about, okay, like let's say, Pepsi came in and it totally dominated in Kenya and things like that. We were going crazy talking about strategy. Then suddenly one kid came up and said, you know what? I'm from Ghana, right? And you people are getting all these multinationals in my company and our local industry is devastated. People have lost jobs. You people are all racist. He stood up and walked out of the class.
Oh
But
God.
but the funny thing, that's the point. The thing is that because he brought it up, you start realizing that look, there's another point of view that you're not aware of, and you start looking at other people's point of view. The point of understanding how to think is to take different points of view. Don't just say my point of view is right and I don't want to listen to anyone else. There are 10 different points of view. They've all got judgment and experience based on their own life, and they all come up with a rational thought that you can incorporate. So yeah, so that diversity was amazing.
That's lovely. I mean, this is so amazing. In fact, when I was in my class, I still remember there was a lady who was. I did the CEO's class at Harvard Business School. So there was
Right.
lady. She was a CEO from the 1985-86, around the time I was born,
All right.
and she was sitting next to me, and I was feeling I was the youngest there at that course, but it was so amazing in here. Let's talk about the exposure wise as well, sir. This is about the peers. It's about
Right.
how they studied. How about the exposure wise? Do you think a student gets a little bit better advantage as exposure as well from the corporates from the multinational, or do you think
Well,
their India is par?
Well, I think a lot of it depends on where you choose to get exposed. Like, so for example, like let's say if you join McKinsey and Company here in India versus McKinsey and Company, let's say in London, yes, there is a little different culture. Let's say in the UK with the UK environment, but the McKinsey culture is similar across the world. So you will get that global exposure. See, one thing you also need to understand is that India is not the world and India. India is part of the world, right?
Right.
So therefore, today, if you want to be successful globally, you have to be successful in this environment, this geography, right? So for example, let's say if you want to start a coffee shop, you will not start a coffee shop that will compete against Kamat's or let's say Santosh Sagar or like Udupi joint. You will
Right.
have to start a coffee shop that will compete against the Starbucks and all the global coffee shops, Costa and all that come down. So therefore, without you even leaving your home city of Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, wherever, you are basically competing with the world because all the multinationals have come into India. Now, all the Indian companies are now dealing with challenges. Multinationals coming in, they've got cheaper imports from China, Vietnam. They got expats coming in, foreigners are coming to work in this country. So the companies themselves have to become globally competitive. Now, they want managers and people who work with them who will be globally competitive to understand a global mindset. And today, don't forget, is that it's not a matter that you need to physically go to the UK or US or something to actually get exposed.
Right.
Nothing stops you with the world of the technology to actually talk to people globally. Most understand one thing. So, for example, like even today, you're sitting in Bombay, you're sitting in Delhi. I'm sure that 90 or 95% of your friends on Facebook or Instagram and all are people in your social network and mostly in your city or in your country or family members.
True.
How many of you guys have got friends from abroad who you have never met personally?
Yeah.
If you are able to create a global network of people, not just in the US and UK, why can't you get friendly with people in Colombia? Why not get friendly with people in Sri Lanka, in Nigeria? The more global friends you have, the more you can understand other people's perspective. So regardless if you're in the right college or not, you start getting that global exposure. And today, exposure now happens online, like the Zoom call that we're having right now.
Perfect. That's so amazing. Right now, many business schools are also, I remember FPJ in Bombay. We
Right.
started the first global campus. That was way back in 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
And IIMs are also, getting students in intake. You guys are doing a pretty good job at your center of Thadomal
Yeah.
Group of institutions. Well, tell us more about that, sir.
So, all right. So the thing is that so just a little background. So along with my MBA in Kellogg, I've done my PhD in student employability from University of Liverpool, right? And what it drove me to do is to make how do I get global education models into India to make sure that students are employable? Because we know that in India people complain about employability of students, but globally not so much, right? So what we said is why don't we bring those best practices down into India to make sure that these students are globally employable. Now, two things. One is that we said is that we need to ensure that every student who graduates from us, every student now has at least a 45, 50-year career ahead of them, right? If they graduate at the age of, let's say, 25, they'll be working for another, let's say, till the age of 65 or even 70 nowadays, right? So
Right.
are they always going to be based in their home city in India? No. They actually have a chance to say that, okay, may want to work in Dubai, Singapore, UK, US, Russia, China, whatever. So therefore, they have to get a degree that is recognized globally, right? Not just in India, but globally. That means that if you go to, let's say, a recruiter in Dubai or go to a recruiter in the UK or let's say in Africa, are you getting a degree that is ranked globally? So therefore, we said we need to get a UK MBA, MBA from a top ranked UK university, right? Now, understand one thing. You have a bunch of Indian business schools here in India, which are known in India. But if you go with a PGDM with those that Indian degree, Indian diploma, not degree, diploma, to let's say London and say, you know, I got, I'm not going to mention the names of these institutions because
Yeah.
that look bad. But the thing is that if you went with one of the local PGDMs, right, who are in the top schools in India to the UK, they've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And they say, what's a PGDM? We understand MBA. We don't understand what a postgrad diploma is. Globally, a postgrad diploma is considered less than an MBA. It's halfway
Right.
to an MBA, right? So we said we want to make our kids to be globally competitive. So therefore, we will bring an MBA from the top-ranked Anglo-Ruskin University into India, right? Now that Anglo-Ruskin University is ranked number 40 in universities globally. Ask yourself, how many Indian colleges are ranked anywhere globally?
Right.
Right? Besides the IIMs, nobody else is, right? So
Right.
we said that's one thing. So therefore, wherever if they study with us, they get the MBA and they will always be a student of Anglo-Ruskin University. You go to
Okay.
LinkedIn, you'll find n number of our students who have studied with us with Anglo-Ruskin University and have got jobs in countries like Canada, Bahrain, and all because of that global degree.
Excellent.
So that's the starting point. The second point is that because we are incorporating, let's say, global degree methods and pedagogy in India, our method of teaching is all very different, right? So, for example, a classic Indian institute will say, if you have 100 hours of teaching time, 100 hours will be sitting in the classroom listening to a lecture, maybe some exercise. Our model is like the UK, is that only 30% of your learning is in the classroom. Most of it is outside in projects, doing live internships, working with companies, building up your understanding of the real world, because you cannot focus on just learning lectures. So the UK and the US education models, like you said when you went to Harvard, is that it's more in terms of making you think, making you learn how to think by giving you, putting you in environments which are outside the classroom. For
Right.
us, education is not in the classroom, it is education is life. So those are the two things. And of course, the third thing is that we have a very strong education technology in the background in our organization, college. So therefore, we're the only business school which gives students downloadable mobile apps, which actually track how they're performing, give them information. In a way, they manage their life through
I
that
know
mobile app. Yeah,
you guys are pretty big on the ed tech space. I know you
yeah.
guys are doing all that. A couple of my students are studying in there, and I've got a great feedback. This is so lovely, sir. I have my thoughts. I would say any Indian degree with only Indian exposure is of no use at all. Always
Agreed.
get a delta of the global thing. All the
Yeah.
top colleges, SPGN has got a global fast track program where students go abroad, and you guys have tied up with the Ruskin University where they're
Right.
coming back and they get a global degree. This is where the world is moving. And sir, I would like to reiterate: if you want to open a coffee shop, you're not going to be competing with the Kamath of the world or a Madras cafe. You're going to be competing with the Starbucks of the world.
Exactly.
This is so lovely. Thank you, Akhil sir. This is lovely having you here. And people who are listening to us, if you guys have any more questions for Akhil sir, please drop in a comment. And if you guys want him to hear more and more, drop in a comment. I'll request him to come again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Raul. Had a great time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.